how's it going? So this is Yoshi's Island. I guess I'll just count down here real quick. 3, on go. Jump right into it. Alright, on go. 3, 2, 1, go. So this is Yoshi's... Thank you. This is Yoshi's Island. It's, in my opinion, the greatest 2D platformer ever made. You good? Reset. Oh, okay. Alright, all good. Leave Discord and get back in. Hello? Yeah, let me just restart. All good. Mistakes happen. Not the end of the world. Not the end of the world. We can just get reset. Here real quick. Again, on go. If you're ready. All right. 3, 2, 1, go. So this is Yoshi's Island. This is, in my opinion, the greatest 2D platformer ever made. It's got a very interesting few mechanics that just make it very, very fun to run. Warpless is an old name. At this point, it's basically just no major glitches. There's a bunch of glitches that are banned. Hard to get into there. But get into it real quick. It's pretty self-explanatory for the most part, but I'll get into a few of the mechanics as we come up on them, kind of talk through stuff. But right away we get into 1-1, make eggs, throw eggs, is the classic first one. And right away, if you are to hold right while you make eggs, Yoshi comes to a complete stop. So every time that I'm making an egg, I'm completely letting go of the D-pad. So as to not lose any speed at all. Also, we don't change our game controls right out the gate. There's hasty and there's patient. We'll be changing in 1-3. There's a text box I can hit to change them in there. 1-1, very, very easy, very straightforward. Nothing really. There's a beanstalk you're supposed to take there, but we just use some flutters to skip it. So we go into 1-2, which probably has one of the bigger skips in the run as well. It's just aptly named 1-2 skip. So we're gonna use a daisy to get over this wall. Might take me a few tries, but it's definitely faster no matter. God. Spitting it really early. That was late. This is like the big reset point in the run, but there we go. So what it works on there is there's like a certain pixel where you can clip the enemy into the wall and bounce off the daisy and get a extended flutter, get a higher flutter off that bounce. But if you rub against that pole, it sets up like the perfect pixel if you do a full jump. And it's a 1-frame spit, so like all 1-frame tricks, sometimes it's just not gonna go well like it did there. Not the end of the world. Jump into 1-3. This is like the first level with a bunch of slopes. And Yoshi runs slower on slopes, so we're gonna be jumping a bunch to get through this as well. I'm gonna hit this intentionally. And I messed up, but whatever. We're gonna switch to hasty. So patient and hasty are the two control styles. All it means is when you press B or A, one of those buttons, the egg shoot button. On patient, you have to repress the button again to throw the egg, and on hasty, you just let go of the button. And what this really does is, on hasty, it makes a neutral shot, shooting on the first frame possible, a 9-frame window, and that's a really consistent shot that makes things later easier. And on patient, that window is frame perfect every time you want to shoot that neutral shot. So it costs like a second and a half or so to switch styles there, but overall, even though like world record holder does it, there's very few people that play on patient at a high level. So there's, I think, one in the top 10, maybe two in the top 10 that play on patient. Here is our first boss stage, our first castle, fortress, whatever you want to call it. It has a cool little mechanic with the key here in a second. Also, if you've seen me, I'm jumping on these pipes as I go in them. That actually skips the animation of going down, and it's half a second faster to do it. But you have to jump and go down it on the same frame. So we're gonna shoot that pot off screen, tongue the key back, and get in here. So if you shoot, that pot, if you shoot it as it spawns, it knocks it high enough in the air to shatter once it lands again. So normally you're supposed to run over there, push the pot, knock it down, grab the key, but there you can shoot it, and then the key goes in the direction you're facing. So what I did there is I ran towards it, turned left, and started running left, and tongued it back towards me, so I didn't have to run all the way. It's just little optimizations like that. So this is the first boss in the game. Interesting boss design. The whole point of the boss is to knock Bert's pants off until he gets embarrassed and explodes and dies. Nice one, Nintendo. First half world over. World 1 is really easy. The game starts to speed up. Starting in World 2 to World 3. Really, World 5 and on is where it gets really spicy. But there's cool things that happen throughout the run. And also, little thing entering levels. You want to mash every button on the controller during level openings, because it speeds up the load time. It's an interesting little mechanic. Some levels don't actually, it doesn't speed it up at all. For example, 6-6 just takes so long to load, it actually don't have to mash at all to speed it up. Also, another thing, egg routes are pretty specific. Like going into this level, I want 0 eggs because I don't need any, because when the game loads a stage, it has to load everything, and eggs are a variable because you can have up to 6 or you could have 0, and so it gives less things to load. Saves a couple frames here or there, not a big deal with the load times, but in certain areas having too many eggs causes lag. It can cause sprite overload, despawn things. You'll see intentional sprite overload in 2.7, and I'll explain that once we get there. But eggs and the routing of them is pretty important at a higher level in this game for sure. Not as important as the category like 100%, or of course you're trying to collect everything. This is the first level where it's obvious that I'm going to be trying to avoid red coins and flowers when possible. So red coins, at the end of every level, they count up all of the collectibles. You count up the stars, the coins, the flowers, and you, by default, you have 10 stars, so you can't really skip stars, of course. But if the scoreboard has to go down and count a flower or count a coin, the first one, that costs about a half a second. So if we can avoid all the coins, we're gonna avoid all the coins. If we can't avoid all the coins, it's not a big deal if like I accidentally grab a second or a third coin. It's the first coin that is really what costs time. It's not a lot, but things like that definitely do add up over time. Also, another little small detail, you want to, the lower you land on the goal ring there, the less time it takes for Yoshi to fall, move on to the next, hand off the next, to the next Yoshi, and move on to the next level. So, 1-6, we got another pipe glitch right away here. See if I can get it. Yeah, I've gotten all 3. That's pretty rare. Normally I'm either miss them all, jump on some, ground pound on some pipes, but doing pretty well in that regard. Other than 1-2 skip, this World 1 has actually been pretty decent. Jump. Oh, missed that jump. You can get a perfect jump there. Jump on the first frame and not slow down at all on that slope, but pressed a little too early. Cool little shot here. Oh, and I missed it. Go for swag and get hit. That's the name of the game. So we're gonna use this little lantern dude to skip that beanstalk. You hit those clouds where the beanstalk's in them. It takes a while for the game completely pauses. You can't move while it's spawning in. It grows and all this stuff, so skip that animation altogether when possible. I don't think you intentionally hit any beanstalks in the entire run at this point, just because you can just skip them for the most part. 1-7 is a pretty famous level because of fuzzies, the drugs that get more Yoshi high. But hopefully we actually don't get hit by them at all, because it costs time. Every time you get hit by one is a bad spawn. They're completely RNG. And yeah, I got hit by a few, but all good, all good. There are 3 levels with fuzzies in them, and that one is most often you'll get better spawns on 1-3, but 6-3 or 1-7, 6-3 and 4-1 also have them, and you can just die to certain spawns because it'll eat an input, or in 4-1 hopefully it doesn't happen, but you can actually clip through the ground because the wavy motion it does can actually clip you right through the ground in 4-1 and just die, and it wasn't your fault. The one few moments of RNG in the game that is really frustrating. There's not a lot of RNG in the game, but that is one of them that can be really annoying. I got a red coin right there, but like I said, I can't skip all of them in this level, so it's not a big deal. And here, just pretty straightforward shooting stuff. Oh, grab a key here. Yeah. So there's a little cool thing you can do right there. You can, if you duck on a specific frame, you can reduce Yoshi's hitbox, like the size of how tall he is, without the animation showing, as well as he, or Yoshi, whatever. Yoshi keeps the speed, so you can lower the hitbox and still hold right and land on that platform. But I messed it up and we just landed on the platform below it. This is probably my favorite boss in the game. just if you do it right, it's just a decent fight. Okay fight. You can actually beat the boss before it does the invincibility frames, like one cycle. It's a really short cycle, but it takes very precise shots, and I don't think anybody has really gotten it consistently in runs. I know a couple people have gotten it, but it's very, very difficult. So, and it only saves like a second or two. Warpless is the only category left that does not allow resets, so we will be taking a little break between worlds, watching Yoshi blow up some buildings, planting his flag down. I don't know what part of the story why he's planting flags down, but you know, like, I guess saving Mario, he also has to claim back these lands or something. Or saving Luigi. The whole thing is to go find Luigi. That's like the whole story. That's not what I'm supposed to do. All that movement was not correct, but whatever. Cannot do a pipe glitch on that pipe there, or the run is invalidated. It causes a warp to what the original name was banned to warps. It causes a warp back to 1-1, which is faster. You beat 1-1, and then you beat 1-1, and it registers that you beat the level you've left, which is 2-1 in this case, and it skips this little mini auto scroller section here. So that is the only pipe that I won't be going for pipe glitches on, because it's illegal. I did do a little pipe glitch on the one that I entered, and it caused a little screen warp, a legal warp, because we have a bad name for this category. It really should just be changed to no major glitches, but we've held the relic of the old name for years now. Because originally, I think it was 2012, some lore here, backstory on the name. I think in 2012 it was, maybe 2011, there was warps were found, 1-1 warps that I was explaining. And specifically the Japanese scene, which was really carrying the scene back then. Most of the runners were Japanese. They didn't want it to devolve into playing 1-1 a bunch of times. It was like scared that we're gonna find it in basically every level, which we didn't, and like make the game really boring because I missed grabbing the toady there. God dang it. This is not. I still want to grab the toady there. So I'm intentionally getting hit there because I want this toady. It was probably slower after I messed up, but... Okay. That beanstalk skip's probably the hardest in the run. You gotta do very precise B presses. And I'm going over here, because normally you're supposed to use Baby Mario, like a little Baby Mario star, to run over those spikes and keep going. But you can just skip that and flutter up. Like a lot of things, just flutter over it. Got any problems, you just flutter over them. This is a little faster strat. It's also pretty cool. You do a perfect flutter, which I'll explain in 2.4 when it's obvious what's going on. But you do a little perfect flutter there. Get to a spot you're not supposed to, and use an extended flutter to skip going a little further left there, and jumping on a trampoline. Just some pretty straightforward platforming to end the level. There's a scary kind of point here, but as long as, okay. So here, I don't need any eggs to go into 2-3, so I'm just gonna get rid of them all. Because 2-3 has a ton ton of spawns of enemies. You can just keep grabbing them and grabbing them, and you actually leave the whole first screen with full eggs if you want. And I will, just in case I need them for the foam section. Foam section should go fine, but it's good to have extras just in case. And there's no real lag that eggs cause in 2.3, so it's a really cool platforming section. Just with the slopes, you want to jump ASAP. I messed that. Want to jump ASAP. Also, make sure you're grabbing eggs, grabbing gusties, and not slowing down. I slowed down a little bit there, but not a big deal. Shoot these eggs in a specific way and clears all this foam out. Intentional Baby Mario section. Mario, if he jumps off of slopes, he gets a little speed boost, so that's what I'm doing on each slope there. There'll be another Baby Mario section in 6.2, so won't be the last time we see Baby Mario running by himself. Alright. 2.4 has a couple of sequence break tricks in them. Mainly, or really they're all in the second screen. It's gonna be the gate hack, where I'll be jumping into a gate here in the next screen and just shooting an egg and opening the gate with the egg. And then a perfect flutter that gets to a spot I'm not supposed to be able to flutter up to. So this gate hack, I am shooting an egg behind the gate and using, oh well, that was weird movement by that Shy Guy. So you shoot an egg upwards behind the gate, and it causes the egg to die, and the dead egg falls back through the gate, opening the gate, and allowing you to go through it. It skips where you're supposed to spawn a staircase, go into another room, and all this other stuff, but you don't actually need to do any of that. And then the perfect flutter, it's like 3-frame window for the perfect flutter. You jump, and at the peak of your jump, you let go of B for 1 frame, repress, and you gain some height, and it allows you to get to places that you're not supposed to. They're like just out of reach. Nintendo like tempting you with the just out of reach section. So you're supposed to use something else. There you're supposed to spawn like a little bridge, but you can skip doing that altogether. And the hardest boss in the game, just look away and shoot eggs. Alright. So going pretty okay. Like I said, outside of 1-2 skip, this has not been bad at all. Pretty fine with how this is going so far. 2.5, it's my favorite level in the game. Just the movement here, there's a shell bounce. It's just super cool. Bowser is probably actually the hardest boss to do well and consistently. No, memes aside. There's a little shell bounce there, so when you spit out a shell, it has like a small amount of time where it actually won't hit you. That's not the way that's supposed to go, but not a big deal. Need 3 eggs. Okay, there's a small amount of time, a few frames, where it doesn't have a hitbox, it can't hit you. So you use that, you upspit there, let it pass through you, and bounce as it's coming back down, allowing you to get up there without pushing that rock. Saves a little bit of time. Cool little strat. There's a few shell bounces in the run that I'll show off when they come out. a couple cool shots that you get to do in this level. I can't do the... yeah, I can't do that one. Whatever. So, you can knock that door down while you're falling. I didn't. And then you just use... Earlier, like I said, there's neutrals that we do. There I do a specific one where I do a jumping neutral. I jump and then I neutral, and it sends it at a trajectory that's perfect for clearing down that foam and knocking the bouncing arrow down. So, and I need one egg going into the next one, so keep this. And then, yeah, pretty straightforward platforming section for the rest of this level. There we go. Alright. And 2.7, here's the level that I said we're going to intentionally overload some sprites to actually go a little bit faster. We'll be here in this first screen. So get this big egg. The big egg will spawn stars. And so we're going to spawn all these stars, and it'll actually cause that... There's supposed to be another cannon there, but it causes it to despawn. I don't think yeah, I'm not getting under there. I'm not risking it. You can get under that if you do that correctly, but it's kind of hard, and I'm bad at it. So I want... Oh, I'm an egg down. Not a big deal, but I'd like to have another egg. There we go. So we can skip this this transformation here just by running under it and then jumping over the whole thing. Definitely wasn't intended, but not really a glitch or anything. And just making sure we jump as much as possible and not land on slopes. Steeper slopes cause higher slowdown, so we're avoiding those. If we can land on a shallow slope and not on a steeper one, but we'll avoid those. So we go in here with 5 eggs, and it allows me to do a kind of cool shot that I'm going to go for here at the start. Yep. It's a hard little shot, so first death, not that big a deal. It's one of the shorter deaths you can have, and I was just going for a kind of a more difficult shot, but it is what it is. Just move on, grab this egg, jump there. Yeah, getting that high spawn on the flame there kind of messed my timing up. I wasn't expecting it. Even though it's like a 50-50, getting a low versus a high, and you can adapt to it. I just messed up a little bit. And I guess I'm not as practiced as I should be on that shot, so just ran off and died. It happens every once in a while. So now that I have 2 eggs, we're gonna... Normally you would shoot this pot with all your eggs, but I only have 2, so it's actually better to do it this way. Still use both the eggs, just gonna start it by pushing the whole way. And so gonna do some specific shots to hit these and not have to wait for those as much. This level pretty like most levels in this game, pretty straightforward. You're holding right You're going through doors, going through pipes, trying to avoid walls to maintain speed. Pretty easy. There's a kind of cool shot here. Mess that jump up. Do a little pass neutral to hit that. And not a very good angle here. I was trying to get the egg out of that, but I hit the wrong side of the egg block. Grab that shy guy. This bandit is the most annoying bandit in the game, I swear. The way the spawns of enemies are a little random, and if that one spawns that far to the right, it's like he's going to take Mario, and there's nothing you can do about it, and without going slow. So you just kind of accept that he's going to take Mario, and then just do a back tongue. So this ghost has two Shy Guys pushing it towards you, and you're trying to just like murder these Shy Guys by pushing the pot. There's a specific timing of what I do when I do things. So I go left right now, turn back around right, and then that allows me to just hold right from here on out, and it should kill the potted ghost. And then if I do this right, nope. So it is actually a little bit faster to hit the explosion on the frame that Yoshi bonks his head. Some reason it speeds up the key animation. It's like 10 frames faster, but interesting little thing. There's the key animation in some places. You can speed it up by doing certain things. In 1.8, for example, if you as you kill the 1.8 boss, you can fall into that lava pit, and it'll actually make the key section faster, or where the key opens up. I don't know. The big key happens, and you like open up the screen or whatever. That animation is sped up if you do that. And there's something you could do in 4.8 as well, but I don't know it specifically, and it's not by much, and it's hard to set up correctly. So let's just be going for blast off in 4.8, and I'll explain that. You'll be able to see it when it comes. Just walking off of platforms right now, though. So World 3 is where we introduce monkeys, we introduce mud, watermelons, a lot of different things that can be a little annoying. Warpless, not as bad as in 100%. 100% things can just despawn, and that's really annoying. However, here we're just running right, trying not to get by the stuff. It's faster there to just do a back tongue as you get caught, and you can get Mario immediately. You know, you're supposed to like duck under the chain of monkeys so they don't take Mario. And there, you can actually skip all the coins in 3.1, but it's like a weird movement thing, and it's since you have to intentionally avoid it with some movement, it's more like a quarter of a second faster rather than a half a second, so I haven't really bothered learning it. I need all these eggs. Getting it there kind of makes that movement weird. Okay, so we skip that flower by shooting the tap way before you get to him. There's certain platforming sections where I can't talk. It's like I get too focused. But 3.2's really cool stage. There's some cool movement. The shot's really cool. So 3.3 we have Nepnuts. They're like the water blargs show up. Not a big deal in this. We kind of just completely jump by them in this category. They show up a little more in 100%, but kind of cool enemy they made. There's a lot of cool enemies in this game that make 1 or 2 appearances and that's it. They did a lot of detailed work in this game. You just unfortunately don't get to see some of it with speedruns, of course. Would suggest anybody who hasn't played this game to play and explore. So here you're supposed to get a helicopter transformation and go through this tiny little hole in the wall. But if you do that, you bounce on that monkey in a certain way. I'm not going to get too nerdy on how that works, but you bounce on that monkey in a certain way and you can duck in the hole and just like not have to take the helicopter. It's like 7 seconds faster, but cool little thing. Can't skip the submarine though, unfortunately. This transformation is really annoying. I messed the movement up there. Focusing. But this, because of the missiles, this transformation is by far my least favorite. Because these missiles can just decide not to hit the fish for some reason. They can do like this big loop around the fish and not hit it at all. You can just hit in one section. You can actually just die. Again, if you get hit by a fish, it just kills you. But we also got frogs. Got frogs and crabs in this world. Next level, we'll see the frog boss as well, which is an interesting idea for a boss as well. Just hit this frog, bounce on him to jump as little on those stairs as possible. That was a really good 3-3. 3-3 normally for me is a problem level, mostly because of that bounce. You can eat the monkey trying to go for the helicopter skip and just lose a bunch of time. And also I got it really fast. Normally it takes a few tries, or I have to set up the position of the monkey more. There, it just worked out pretty perfectly. 4 eggs leaving this room, so I'm gonna eat all these things. So, got our first like sustained flutter section. That was a weird spawn. Am I gonna make it? No. That's really annoying. Now I only have 2 eggs and I want 3. We're gonna see if I can flutter well enough to get some extra eggs here. And it looks like, yeah, I did. So here you're just fluttering over the water. There's like a pinwheel thing you're intended to take, but it's even faster just to jump and land in the water. And obviously take this slow pinwheel. And we can kill this crab before we get to him, but it takes 3 shots, and that's why I needed 3 eggs. This is one of the many rooms of death. This is like a noob killer for new runners. New runners really struggle with that room, because if you mess up any of those jumps, you just kind of die. And there's a couple rooms in this game that just murder new runners because of how easy it is to make a mistake and die. So normally Kamek is making the enemies bigger. Here, making me smaller so I can get swallowed by the frog. And I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna hit the uvula that's dangling in his stomach in a certain way. What an interesting design for a fucking boss. Alright, I got hit there. These acid droplets are pretty random, so yeah. This might be, yeah, this is not going too well, but just gonna lose a few seconds. That's 5. Hopefully this is a 6 shot. Nope. 7 shots. Normally, fastest you can do the fight in is 5 shots, but it's really difficult. So 6 is what I'm normally shooting for. 6 shots is pretty much the average of what I get, but there, got hit by the, and actually more like 8 because I killed one of those shy guys, but not a huge deal. Just costing a little time. Also, Yoshi there. Assuming that Yoshi just got pooped out by that frog. And then he has these wide ass eyes after he gets out. It's really funny. Alright, that didn't go too poorly. There's just like shooting specific shots and trying not to get hit by things. Try not to kill yourself as well by accidentally clearing foam below you. And just a specific jump pattern from here out. Basic platforming. Don't have to do that to the piranha, but that's a little foreshadowing for a trick later in this world where I will be intentionally going through a piranha using its iframes. Those green ones, they take 3 shots to clear normally, but you can, after you hit them, you have a short window where you can go through them. And you do that intentionally a few times, specifically in 3.8 and 4.3. But there's just for a little swag. I'm gonna try to do a shot here. That's pretty cool too. There's a couple options you can do to get through this quickly. Going bottom route is a little faster. You can spawn some stairs as like the intended route, or you can, there we go. Just cool little ricochet shot that I found a long time ago. Fun couple shots you can do in this level. And there's 6.5. I'll be trying a few cool shots, but don't have a lot of opportunities to go for backsters and stuff and not lose time. There's a couple random spawns that can happen here. Yep. Oh, I missed that bounce to save some flutters. Those fish that are jumping to the left, it's a random spawn basically if they spawn or not. But it speeds up that section a little bit if they do. Alright, that section went pretty well. Just specific jumps and tonguing some enemies. I do want 6 eggs going into 6 or 3.8, so eating the enemies that I did is very intentional. Gonna jump on that slope a little to get my speed oscillation a little higher. Go in with 6 eggs, and my favorite level of World 3, 3.8. 3.8 is a really cool boss level. It's probably one of the best levels that has a boss in it, besides the boss. Boss is a really cool idea, but we are hopefully not going to be fighting this boss because of an Easter egg that Nintendo did intentionally put that allows you to skip it. Really getting a lot of pipe glitches on this run though. speeding up the run just a little bit, and you can go through that little fish there that's supposed to eat you if you just tongue it. You slow down enough for some reason, it just lets you go through it. There's a left right you can do. You can egg it as well, but I don't want to waste eggs in this level, so it's faster just to tongue through it. Can't do it to these ones, so just gonna flutter over them and mess that shot up. That's why we get 5 eggs. And for some reason, there we go. So you want to hit that ghost as he spawns. It's really hard to commentate sometimes and not mess up. But you want to hit that ghost as he spawns. So you're supposed to like use a bunch of eggs on him, like egg him over and over again. But if you hit him as he spawns, we're gonna take this safe. Oh, well, all bosses. This run has turned into all bosses, so we are going to show you how to fight this boss. Normally, I jinx myself, but normally what you do is you shoot him off screen or before you enter the boss start animation, and it kills him. Like, just kills the boss. Kamek comes in, says "oh my," and boss explodes like he normally does. Now we just gotta do some ricochet shots like that. But now I don't have eggs, so I have to wait for egg spawns. So this boss fight's really slow, as you can see, so normally you'd want to skip it. And it's not hard to skip it. I missed that first shot and I wanted to take it safe, and then I went too far to the right because I don't normally I just shoot another shot, I miss it, I reset. So it's like I don't normally take it super safe there. Should have just did what I normally do. Change strats during a marathon run. Of course, things are gonna turn out a little bit wrong. He's dead now, though. So, got to at least see a cool little idea for a boss. You're just ricocheting the shots instead of shooting him directly. I mean, he makes it a little obvious what he's trying to hit, but in a casual playthrough, a lot of people will try to egg it directly, or you just have to find out. It's just playing on the mechanic where the eggs can skip across the water and keep going, and you can use the ricochet to cause that. So, cool little idea they had for that boss. Also cool that they'll let you skip it altogether. A little Easter egg, but didn't get to see that. And the second half of the game gets a lot harder after the first half. World 4 through World 6 are much harder worlds than World 1 through 3. Mostly from a speedrunning sense, but I'm sure from a casual sense as well, that's the case. It's just the difficulty and ways you can mess up gets ratcheted up a lot starting with this world. So, and this is the room where you can just die to fuzzies for no reason. So I'm gonna be egging them if possible, but normally can I get up to that one? Okay. I didn't remember if that right one was higher or not, so I was also trying to kind of just flutter up to it, gain a little height to get onto it, but little lack of knowledge knowing that left one is actually, that's not high enough. So that's not far enough to the right, is what I meant. Okay. That didn't go too well, but whatever. Normally you're supposed to take a baby Mario to like run all along the top and stuff, but why do that? And then we can go for and miss the Baxter. Nothing going right in this level. But normally you're supposed to take a baby Mario to go around and stuff, but you can skip it using a little extended flutter, bounce off the Shy Guy and flutter up. Also, those enemies at the end, I think that's the only level in the game they appear, which is another cool little thing they added. A lot of uniqueness to some of the levels in this game, which is part of what makes it such a good game. Definitely gonna see me make way more mistakes in this world, World 5, World 6, than I did prior. And I did make a decent amount of mistakes, but it definitely gets a lot harder. 4-2 is pretty straightforward, but like 4-3, I could definitely mess up the start of the level pretty easily. Hopefully we won't. Hopefully we get to see cool little shell bounce without too much problem, but 4-3 is actually a really cool stage. I enjoyed it a lot. It's a cool shell bounce I get to do at the beginning, piranha, skip, and a couple cool shots in the last screen as well. Alright. Gonna grab Koopa. Thought I got high enough to not have to do an extra flutter, but yeah, you can do that shell bounce without getting hit, but most of the time you're just gonna get hit by it because it's hard to land on the shell without getting hit. But you can also turn left there like I did to avoid to have Mario get knocked off to the right instead of left. I'm not supposed to jump into that, but whatever. As you're going past that little save ring there, you do a jumping neutral like as soon as you passed it, and I just jumped early, so that's why I ran into it, and it caused me to miss the other shot as well. But overall, got a cool little Shy Guy bounce to avoid doing some left-right movement with the walls there, so sped it up just a little bit. And 4-4 is probably the most expansive level. It's the longest level that's not an auto-scroller in the game. It's 4 keys, 4 corners of the level that you're supposed to go to. It's just a big level. It's probably the hardest level in the game to do well. Very easy to lose a lot of time everywhere in this level. I mean, 5-4 is probably harder, but just because of one reason. As you will see once I get to 5-4, I might do a warp in 5-4 if 5-4 goes really poorly. Get to show off the warpless 5-4 if it goes well, and the warp 5-4 if 5-4 skip doesn't go well, which you'll see what 5-4 skip is when we get there. It's probably another 10 minutes, 15 minutes or so away. Alright. Yeah, there's a lot of lag there. I have extra eggs. Alright. And ground pounding into doorways is actually a little bit faster, as long as you get on an early frame. And there I got it on the first frame, so saving a little bit of time. Oh, well, I wanted that. Just missed the tongue. Really good movement. You're supposed to take this like blue moving arrow there instead of what I did, but you can use an extended flutter like a lot of sections to speed it up a little bit. Abusing flutters is probably the biggest thing we do in this run. Extended flutters, sustained flutters, and all that jazz. And I just messed this up altogether, but that little foam section is really cool. You shoot a very specific angle shot as you're running at it, and it just clears everything. That's cool once you get consistent at that shot. Shoot that bucket down. You can actually skip this bucket, but it saves 2 seconds, and if you miss it, you die. So, not gonna be doing that. I've not been able to hit that shot much lately. You can do a neutral there and hit that cloud and knock the key down. All right, now we just go to the boss, and I'm gonna try to jump between some of these milds here, these little Kirby's, to get 2 eggs going into the boss fight. But most of these rooms are pretty easy, just opening up doors. All right. All right. I'm gonna actually go for a hard strat here. We'll see if I get it. It's pretty sick if I do, but I probably won't. Yeah, I missed it. You can hit ground pound 3 of these bigger milds at the same time. But that was okay. Alright. And there's 4-4. And there's another cool shell bounce in this level towards the end. But most of it, you're supposed to use a rock and push it through everything, but the same thing's coming up, just flutter over everything and skip it. And here as well, we're gonna flutter over this post. Run backwards a little bit. Use that the roly-poly to give you a little boost, and if you let go of right, which is actually how you make it go, the speed boosts last a little longer. For some reason, it makes you turn to the right. Messed that up a little bit. No, you're supposed to jump up to the top, but I missed the jump. Or I held B too much off the shell bounce and got caught, like bonked my head, fell to the bottom, but pretty good anyways. You're supposed to spawn a staircase there. It's the intentional method. This is one of the most RNG filled stages. There's a lot of fish that can randomly jump and hit you. Specifically, there's one that can really hit you and cause some problems. Also, there's that one. That one happens pretty rarely because there's almost every spawn doesn't hit you. But I guess there's 2 that can hit you pretty commonly. And then that spawn is the one that hits you if you don't jump the way I did, the way I reacted. So pretty bad RNG through this level. And then there's this one. If it decides it wants to hit you, it just does, but it didn't. What am I doing? I've been messing that up lately. Going for the old strat, not just sticking with what I know. I don't know. Weird. But going, and then there's this piranha here at the end that we just jump through again. There we go. All right. So there's a cool little enemy that comes up in a few or not enemy, actually a type of egg that comes up in a few levels. They're like chickens, and they go in a weird trajectory where they kind of like loop around Yoshi and then come back. They're kind of like a boomerang effect and come back to Yoshi. They exist in 4.7. You're not supposed to be able to bring them out of the levels they are in, but there's a way you can. And I'm going to be trying to take this chicken that I got into those perfect jumps. Oh, no, I was still able to despawn the Gusties. I'm going to be trying to bring that chicken into the next level. So it requires a manipulation of, there's like nerdy stuff, the manipulation of some ID values to allow you to do it. So that's why I have eggs in a very specific, I have an egg, chicken, egg. That's very intentional here. And I didn't get it. So there, if you cancel the egg on the frame you hit the goal ring, it allows you to take it into the next screen. And it's important because it speeds up the boss fight by a decent amount. It's like a one shot to damage the boss instead of the 4 it normally takes without a chicken. So but we'll just have to do it normally. It saves about 10 seconds if you get it. Another frame perfect trick that saves time if you get it, but you only get one shot. I thought I shot early there, but we're gonna... You know the iframes I talked about? Oh, well, I was gonna talk about it, but messed that up. Never mind. Another cool shell bounce. And also, it's the only time you see that in Warpless run. So if you hit a star cloud off screen, or not even off screen, if you hit a star cloud, it does this weird little lag kind of time stoppage thing. And you can use that and go through a save ring at the same time as those like lag frames, and for some reason it allows you to just run through it without any of the stoppage you normally get from save rings, but it still gives you all the stars and stuff. So that's used more in 100%, but there's the only time it's used in the Warpless run. So here, you don't have to keep running right. The boss is going to spawn regardless if you keep running right once the fog spawns. So we're going to actually position in the middle of the screen, so the screen scrolls less than it normally does. Saves a few frames. And get the big Koopa boss. And shoot it 4 times instead of 1. And you just jump on his head, and you'll spit out more eggs for you. Pretty easy, like most of the bosses. Pretty easy, straightforward boss fights in this game. And there's Blast Off. If you ground pound, like before the boss hits the ground on the last egg, it just launches you into the air off screen. Who knows why? It just does. I actually need to grab a water real quick in between these worlds, so hopefully I can get there and back real quick. Yeah, we're back. Just didn't realize how much water I'd actually need to get through this run. Don't normally talk this much during my runs. So this is the ice world, like the ice and snow world. So there's a lot of ice physics. This is actually my favorite world in the game. It's just a lot of it's really interesting. 5.4 is really cool. There's a lot of different kind of things they do. Like right now we're flying on a cloud instead of doing normal platforming, while still doing pretty specific movements with the cloud. So cool stuff. It's actually faster to avoid the cloud and scale the mountain normally, but it's like just under a second faster, or close to a second faster, and you have to do it basically perfectly or it's slower. I didn't get that shot. Okay, and I need this egg. Some weird movement there. A couple movement mistakes, but all good. Another piranha skip. Just snow, quite predictably, makes you run slower in it, so I'm gonna be jumping immediately every time we hit snow. We are getting close to 5.4, which is the most important level in the game. Tease that a little bit more. There's a really cool trick in it, and even if I messed it up a few times, I'm gonna do the warp, which is the coolest warp. Even though this is warpless, gonna show off a warp if things don't go well with the normal warpless route. We'll give 5.4 skip a couple tries and then just go for the warp if my flutters aren't good. This screen is looks really cool, especially to people that aren't that familiar with the game. Just the end, there's a lot of bouncing and yeah, that's good. You just fall and then get a couple extended flutters off these penguins. I think that section looks really cool. You're supposed to take the ski lift all the way up, like down to the left and to up, and it's really slow. And you could just flutter instead, like everything in this game. 5.3 is another one of those new runner killers. This for new runners is probably the hardest level in the game. Once you get used to it, it's not that bad, but definitely for new runners, this is like the hardest level in the game. They're gonna go. Well, normally you go up there, but we're gonna go through the water here. Let the penguin not kill us. Can I still make it up? Okay. I didn't remember if you could bonk there and still make it up to that gap, but you can. You need that egg. I'm gonna actually... Okay. Those jumps are kind of hard. Pretty tight. That like ice pyramid thing is pretty difficult to get without accidentally pressing jump a frame too early. Alright. That screen's kind of scary, but we got through it. And now it's the ski section. Basically an auto-scroller, but you can jump in certain spots to make it a little faster. Alright. Just avoid getting hit. Basically, for these, you want to jump on the bottom of slopes. Gives you a little, maintains your speed a little bit. This screen, don't have to jump at all, so I won't. Just so I don't accidentally kill myself, I'm not going to press any button. There's probably an optimal jump pattern to do it faster, but don't know. Nobody's really looked into it, and it probably wouldn't speed it up by too much. So here I'm going to intentionally get hit, and then get hit, and then get hit one more time. And rolling uphill is faster than skiing uphill, and that's basically why. I don't know if that's still like the meta for optimal ski, but I've been doing it for years, and so I think Lee SDA was the first one to really do it that way, and since then, it's like 2013. Since then, I've been doing it that way. So. And even if there was a more optimal ski pattern, it'd be frames faster, like maintaining speed a little bit longer for certain spots or something. So this is the most important level in the run. This is the hardest level. This, just overall, just super difficult to even do without dying at an optimal level. And you will see why once we get to a couple screens from now. Also, the boss is really cool. But you shoot down this. Can't skip the stairs. I think theoretically you could, but it wouldn't be faster. So, gotta spawn all the stairs here. Can't really skip this. That at all, so jump into that. I'm actually going to get a safety savering here in the next screen, so just jump under these ghost guys. Alright, here it goes. I'm going to give this a couple tries, and just because it hurts my thumb to do this, and if I don't get it, I'm just going to show off the warp. So, here we go. Well, we got it first try. Every time I do that, no matter what the stakes are, no matter what's going on, my heart starts pounding towards the end there. I never don't get nervous doing that trick. Even in practice, for some reason, I get towards the end there and it just pounds. It's a very difficult trick. I think it really speaks for itself. It's just visually impressive. It's even more impressive for 100% runners. They have to collect everything while they do that. So, good on them. I didn't go far enough back, did I? I keep forgetting spots here. So, okay, there, there, there. So that theme, the theme of how that boss works, has come up a couple times. It's hitting the heart before the rest of his body spawns. So, like the ghost prior, where I hit in 3-8, where I hit him as he spawned, that's basically the same thing. I'm hitting the heart as it spawns before the body has the chance to. And you do very specific neutrals there, like first frame shots. Another big reason we use hasty rather than patient is because of things like that. Makes neutrals just so much more consistent. Alright. There we go. This level is pretty self-explanatory. It is faster here to not. I know I've been saying that the whole run, but really Yoshi's Island is not a lot goes on that needs to be explained. You could just watch it, and it's good. But here, taking the helicopter, it's faster not to, but it's like a second, and it's really hard. And I don't know how to do it because that became meta while I was on my hiatus. So, working through getting to new strats, but here, just start this timer and just get to the top before I have to reset it. There's another switch just in case you need it, but don't need all these eggs going into 5-6. Alright. So the annoying part, it's really cool. 5-4 is really cool, but it's really annoying to do a no reset run into, you know? Because you could just die there multiple times and feel bad, even if your run's good. It is the biggest spot where runs die. So now that we're past that, and I got it first try, just smooth sailing from here. Still some pretty difficult sections gonna happen, but nothing that's gonna cost me like multiple minutes over and over if I can't do it correctly. So should be well on our way to at least a sub 150, if not better. Which actually is pretty average for me lately, which used to I could have knocked out a much better time, but that death in 2-8 and 1-5 kind of cost a lot of time, so not 1-5. Death in 2-8 and 1-2 skip, my bad. And then just various mistakes throughout the run. But overall, I think this run has been pretty decent. This to me, this auto-scroller is like a blessing in disguise. Because it being right after 5-4 just gives you a second to calm down. Especially in PB attempts or world record attempts, back when I was world record level. Really gives you that chance to calm down, just worry about not getting hit. It's like an auto-scroller where you have to pay attention, though. If you don't pay attention, you are going to probably just die. So can't really take a chance to respond to chat or anything. Unfortunately, though. There is like sections where I don't have to pay attention, I guess, like right there. Fuck. Should have drank more water going into this round. My throat's getting pretty dry. Not really a lot to talk about here, just really just not getting hit. Kind of gone over all the stuff that's already gonna come, so yep. Just trying not to get hit. Don't want any eggs, because I need to bounce off of a Shy Guy. These Gusties are random, and they can kill you if you aren't careful. Because of that little hole in the ground, they can just kill you. Alright, cleared those out well. And alright, good. Skip the flower. Good 5-6. That screen can definitely have issues sometimes. You want to clear those piranhas before they spawn to avoid a bunch of lag. So one of the few levels that you actually start going left instead of right. We're in a part of the run that it's getting pretty difficult for me to like focus on not dying, not getting hit and stuff, and compensate at the same time. It's one of the struggles of this game. Ooh, that doesn't happen normally. There we go. Thankfully, you have your crutch of just fluttering. So, we're gonna fall. So there, we fall, we hold left as we're falling, or we press left so you're facing left, as we're falling to make the piranha actually spit to the right. And then we just, once we have the opportunity, hold right, shoot the piranha, and we'll run through them. It looks a lot harder than it is. I'll drop the flutter there, but we're good. It looks a lot harder than it is, but it's actually pretty easy. You just time the right press and the A button press at the correct time, and it works. It's a pretty big window. Back in the day, we used to, before we found that, we used to just flutter in place and shoot the piranha 3 times. Which was way harder than what we do now, so. I like when things are faster and easier. Makes life a lot easier. Alright. Gonna get this mace guy out of my way. Be off screen for a little bit. Some cannons here that I want to get rid of. Alright, and I have to do this upshot right, or I get hit, and it doesn't clear everything out. Like that. God damn it. That cannon's really going to be a thorn in my ass. That was really slow, but sometimes that happens. If you mess up that upshot, you just kind of get screwed. Whatever. Couple mistakes. This is also slow. We got it. And cool little vertical section coming up as well. Just gonna clear enemies out as we move through them. Try not to perfect jump too much. Okay. We're not too terrible. I think we're on decent pace for what it is. Yeah, this is the biggest RNG, the biggest randomness, especially for a boss fight. This is the biggest randomness the biggest section of randomness that influences the run, to say that correctly. If he goes here to the right instead of the left, it's slower, like that. And he also can stop in between, like that, and that's the worst piece of RNG. As well as, well, I landed on that, makes it worse. Between hits, he can also attack, which he didn't do there. But like that, and that's a little bit slower, so not the worst thing that could happen, but especially when you're going for PBs and you could just lose 10 seconds to that, kind of annoying, but especially with how optimized this game is at the top level. The world record holder Saku has brought this game to a level that's pretty insane. I would recommend anybody to go watch his run and watch how amazing he is. Watch anything he does. Saku, SAKU_GHD, Japanese runner, has both Warpless and 100% world records by a good margin. By far the best speedrunner we've ever had. And then Yoshi's Island. It's the longest cutscene we got. Into the longest world. World 6. First half of World 6 is really fun. Second half of World 6 not so much, but game's almost over, so we're almost done. I like the platforming of this first half of World 6 though. It pretty much makes up for how annoying the second half is. Alright. And there's another little bit of randomness on this screen. So these first few chomps aren't random at all, but they're at the end. There's a couple spawns that can just kind of slow you down. They can kill you. There's like one spawn that can kill you if it gets you. It's not that one. Didn't get it, but there's one spawn where it just like it spawns right overhead and you can't avoid it. The only thing you can do is jump as it goes through you, and you can actually jump and jump through it if you jump on a specific frame. I don't know if it's frame perfect or not, but really kind of annoying piece of randomness that can happen there. Alright. Pretty good. Altogether, pretty decent 6-1. fun to go through. This, like I said, this whole first half of World 6 is really fun to play. Probably my favorite section of the run is this half of the world. Don't normally spit that out, but not too bad. Don't need that egg. The edges of those mushroom platforms are actually curved a little bit, so that's why I'm jumping a lot on those platforms specifically. So I don't want to get the little slowdown on them. Alright, then... Alright. That section can be scary at times. And lately, so in this section, for some reason I've been messing this up a little bit. Okay, we're good. Should be good. Alright, we're good. I forgot the last jump until like the last second. I almost... There's a chance I would have died there, and that would not have been good. Just to do some cool stuff, we're gonna go for a couple harder strats than I normally do in this level. But they're kind of cool. Oh, well, I missed the first one. You could jump under those. It's a pretty tight jump, and if you miss it, you just kind of die. Or if you miss it and don't land on the platform, you just die, of course. Pretty good spawns there. No fuzzies for 6-3. That platform is really tight, but it looks so sick if you get it. And if you mess it up, you just die, so I don't normally go for that movement. Okay. The last fortress of the run. Pretty interesting concept for a level as well. Like, it has you do 2 solo fights, 2 slime fights. Like, you have to refight the first world boss here, but you can skip a lot of that altogether. Have to do one of the fights here. Can't skip this fight, but I didn't missed the 1 cycle there. Where'd he go? I want to get more eggs. Got to do the boss fight with 4 eggs, so not gonna chance making that key land somewhere weird. So okay. Yeah, I've been pretty inconsistent with that fight lately. I've been grinding it a lot and still, like, I can't get it right. But I'm gonna grab this save ring intentionally, just in case. Gonna go for a lava skip, but I could die. We don't ride the log here. Looking good so far. I think we're towards the end here, yeah. And see, that's so much easier than 5/4 skip. Just keep fluttering. Just press B correctly. Just press B. Fluttering, it's hard to explain why it's so hard to do it well and not just lose a bunch of height. But most of it revolves around the fact you really want to be repressing B or releasing B for only one frame when you do release it to do flutters, and it's hard to do consistently without a bunch of practice. And if you're trying to flutter optimally, you're trying to release on around the first frame that you're able to. But if you release and repress too early, you have what we call a dropped flutter. You just fall out of the sky. And that's really easy to have happen as well, so. So the first half of World 6 is over. We get into a section of the game where there's just happens to be a ton of auto-scrollers. So here's a full stage that's an auto-scroller. And we're going to have some sections in 6-7 and 6-8 that are also auto-scrollers. At the end of this level, there is an auto-scroller skip. And that requires some more frame perfect stuff, so hopefully that doesn't take too much time to get, but I think overall it's gonna be pretty okay. Pretty boring auto-scroller. They just have you just up above us, where we just went down. There's an opening to the right, and what we're gonna do is the screen's gonna loop. We're gonna go through, down, and back where we were. I'll actually be able to grab a Shy Guy out of one of the pipes that we had already passed off screen once we get back up to it. But they make this level look a lot bigger than it is by making it loop in the way it does. I wonder if there's a cool shot. Oh, no. I should probably just get up here before I get trapped. There's a rock that can fall here that just traps you below. That one. That just traps you and kills you. I missed the shot. I never missed that shot. Wow. Nothing really to go over. Here's, if you go up here, you can actually get a couple eggs by eating some Shy Guys out of those pipes that were there. Oh. There we go. So the auto scroll is almost over here. Getting close to the end, we can get to the skip. I'm gonna grab the save ring in the next room, just for safety, because it's really easy to accidentally die in the last screen, and nobody wants to watch this again, so we're just gonna grab a safety save ring. One of the few safety save rings that I try to get. Nope, we got it right away. So that's supposed to be an auto-scroller. Like, this whole part's supposed to be an auto-scroller. But if you jump there on the first frame that you land on the ground, you get what's called a perfect jump, which I've brought up a couple times. But what the properties of that is, basically the game doesn't register the fact that Yoshi actually touched the ground there. so it can be used to there specifically, because it doesn't know you touch the ground, it doesn't scroll the screen up. And the whole thing about that auto scroller, it's based on where the screen is, the trigger is. So you just flutter over the trigger. Like a lot of these things in this game, recurring theme, you flutter over it. However, another thing about perfect jumps is you can use them to get extended flutters to carry a bounce flutter. Come on, this trick's really hard. There we go. It took way longer than it should have. But you can carry extended flutters even after landing on the ground again. Not really useful in RTA, but for individual levels, it's pretty useful. Me getting the key in that first screen is the way that I did is very, very difficult. So it's 2 frame perfect inputs. The jump and the tongue are both frame perfect inputs. You have to tongue at a specific time and then jump exactly 3 frames later. And then you also have to press left on there's a window to the left press. I think it's a couple frames, 2 or 3 frames, but you have to do all of that correctly to be able to get that key through the wall. And I said second half of World 6 is super annoying, and that's because there's these really tight frame window tricks that just happen at the very end of the run that you can't really reset over because you're at the end of the run. But it's really dumb. And there's theoretically another frame perfect trick, but this one you would only get 1 shot at. You would only get 1 chance to try it, and if you missed it, you would lose like 20 seconds or something. A lot of time, especially at the top level. But it saves 40 seconds if you get it. And it's not just frame perfect. You have to set up your height in a very specific way. It's to not get too nerdy. There's a theoretical trick you can do here in 6-7 that would skip this auto scroller, but it hasn't become meta quite yet. There's a theoretical 40 seconds to be saved on the run just by doing a faster strat, but there are only a few people that have done the strat in real time. A handful of people have been able to pull it off in real time, so there is an IL of it. The IL does do the frame perfect trick, but it's so hard to get, and the fact you only get 1 chance at it, it's at the very end of the run. Like, we're within 6-7 minutes of the run being over at this point, so like it just isn't worth the grind, you know, for most people. Maybe in the future. I predict at some point in the future people will start going for it, but it's gonna be a while. Last Baby Mario section, which is just a hold right. Nothing too special. I don't know if that flutter is actually gonna make things later a bit weird. This is a different gate hack than what we did earlier. So you spit the enemy. So you spit that enemy into the gate, and it gets a negative value of movement, and then when you spit it back through, it opens the gate. But it also, you have to have the IDs set up in a certain way, which isn't a problem, if you just naturally go in there. But if you get hit and you start fluttering and you start spawning things in a weird way, it becomes impossible to do, actually. So alright, so this is the last level of the game. Since we're not doing hundo, don't get to do any of the extras, but get to fight fight Bowser here. And this is actually probably the hardest boss in the game, actually. There are 4 doors that you can get here, but we want door 4. So I do a neutral shot, a pretty specific spot. It's like a 10 frame window to hit the shot, so it's not hard. But if you mess it up, you lose a lot of time. Every other door, all the other 3 doors are all a lot slower. One's an auto scroller, but every door has to go through this auto scroller. But there's another one that's like a big tap that looks like the 6-4 boss, that just like runs after you or walks at you, and it's really slow. It's actually faster to just die if you get that one. And there's a couple of other ones. There's one that makes you do the slime refights again. Just cool. Like, the other doors are really cool, but you don't have to get them. And as you saw, door 4 was really, really quick, so it's better to just get door 4. Oh. If you stand in this spot, can't respawn again. This covers both his potential spawns in that. There. Okay. And nose is really itchy, so like I have to stop, and allergy's kind of messing with me right now. All right. This is the last spawn he can get, is right here. So we're gonna stand here, make him not spawn so he can't hit me. And there's the most useless save ring in the game. For those who've played this casually, or runners that might struggle with Bowser in the future, never get that save ring. If you die to Bowser, you respawn at this fight anyways, so that is the most useless save ring in the game. It gives you 10 stars, so 100% runners might get that if they're not able to get to 30 stars before here, but don't get that save ring if you're doing Warpless or Warps. I'm not going to comment on what I just did there, though. You can just use your imagination. Okay. So in about 2 minutes, time will be up as well. Or a minute and a half. It's coming up. There'll be a text box that I'll hit I'll say when time is, but it's after I kill Bowser. He tricked me. Oh, and I despawned that egg. Should hit, and you should start sending his rocks down. That should hit, right? Oh, I think that one's too low. I'm not good at this fight. I'm probably the worst top 10 player when it comes to this fight. It's like my biggest problem. Yeah, that's too. Oh, that hit. All right. So it's here. Time's up. Coming here in a second. It's just gonna be a text box that comes up and once I clear it. All right. Time. And there is Super Mario World, Yoshi's Island. No major glitches for a better name for it, but Warpless. Thanks for watching. I don't really have my... Oh, well, I guess I could plug... We could plug the Yoshi community. Speedrun.com, YI, speedrun.com/YI. You can, from there, you can find... that's our leaderboards, of course, but also our Discord link. There's a lot of good resources out there as well. Yeah, you're fine. Yeah, time's up. It's like a one. I was timing it on my end, so I don't. 1:47:53. That's not that bad. Not that important. However, I did a pretty generous estimate just in case things went really, really bad, which they can, specifically in 5.4, but I got it right away. To finish plugging the Yoshi community, speedrun.com/YI, you can find our Discord link there, and other resources. Yoshi.science is our wiki. A lot of good stuff there if you want to run the game. Come and ask questions if you want to run Yoshi. That's about it for me. Thanks for having me. It was a good run.